Hot Ice, Tuesday, June 21st. Carl back from Omaha. We're going to get into some Mincy stories, some Jake stories. First headline, the Braves are on a tear. Carl's tweet last night, the Braves are going to win the East. Article comes out today. Their manager, Brian Snitker, has a closed-door meeting. People are kind of getting on him. They're like, with his hitting coach, his pitching coach, like, hey, you're gonna run these guys. You're gonna blow them up. And he's like, nah, guys don't really respond to that. Has a closed door meeting before a game in Arizona where they can go for a sweep. Basic message is relax. They've rattled off 14 since losing Albies in the mix, which they did lost a bat last year. Do you what do you? It's kind of chicken or the egg. So 14 games you get hot, but you're playing shit competition. Like, what do you guys make of the Braves? I know you said basically they'll win the East last night, Carl. So we'll get to you second. But Ev, as kind of like a bystander, is it like, yeah, 14 in a row is definitely impressive? It's against shit, or is this like a legitimate worry for the Mets because we still don't know about DeGrom? Can they make a run at the East? They're only 5.5 back.
No, I mean, I think it's got to be a legit worry for the Mets. I don't listen, if you win 14 games in a row, you win 14 games in a row. You play who's on your schedule. I don't think it matters good, bad. I mean, especially this year, I feel like more than others past. I could be wrong on this. I feel like there's a lot this year. There's been a lot more of those like middle of the road teams, like those just under 500 teams, like the D-backs and teams like that are very pesky. Like they're not easy outs. Like they go out, they win ball games. They're not like they're teams that aren't going to lose 100 games. They're teams that maybe go, I don't know, 77 and 90, whatever the math is. You know what I'm saying? Like I think there's a lot more of that this year, and like I think they're going to make a run too. I mean, the thing the Mets have going for them obviously is that they're going to get all this pitching back, which is going to be massive for them. The thing with the Braves is I feel like their pitching starting to come around. Like Fried, I feel like he's starting to pitch a lot better. You have the guy Strider going tonight. That's a young guy that's pitched really well. Like their pitching starting to get going. The Mets are going to get their pitching back, but I mean, I think it's going to be a legit race. And obviously, you got the Phillies that are playing a lot better. They're coming along a little bit. They're right there a few games back. So I mean, I think you're going to have a real race. I mean, I still think the Mets should be the front runners. I mean, they have the best team on paper. They have the best pitching when healthy, which it seems like Scherzer is going to be back somewhat soon. DeGrom hopefully in a month or so for their sake. So I mean, I think the Braves are for real, but I also think the Mets are the better team. But I think it's going to be a race.
Yeah, Carl, you can comment for sure on the East. But the other question I had, as Ev was speaking, I thought of it. Where do you put the Braves as far as power ranking in the East? Of like, forget records, like here, like. Where are they? Are they ahead of the Padres? Are they ahead of the Cardinals? Are they ahead of the Brewers? Like, you can fit that in as you kind of digest the Braves.
Yeah, I'll just say I was asking the question, too. That was the number one thing was, are they going to win these? A lot of people are definitely all over the Mets. And I'll say in 21 series this year, the Mets have won 16. They've lost 2. They've pushed on 3. There's very good reason why they're 45 wins, and they're clearly the best team in the National League. But behind them slots, I think clearly the Dodgers and the Padres, and it's not much of that gap after that. And then after that, you get in this mix where it's the Giants, it's the Brewers, it's the Cardinals. And then if we want to sit here and talk about the Braves, I think they're absolutely at the top of that kind of third tier mix here in the National League, which may sound like it's bad news for Braves fans. But again, guys, it's baseball. There's a lot of teams that are at the top. And have you bring up a great point. There aren't many in the 100 win, or I mean, in the 100 loss column this year. There are a lot of pesky teams. I think that's a cultural shift in baseball too. I think as teams are bad and they're rebuilding, they're doing a better job of getting good management and staff structure, finding the right guys to invest in. You know, if you want to look at the Pirates, for example, like they did go out and extend Brian Hayes, Derek Shelton coaches those guys pretty fucking hard. Now you've got O'Neill Cruz up, obviously with the suspension or with the manipulated service time, but it's just one example of a team that would traditionally just be so fucking bad, but they're playing harder. So that's a great point on your part. But I really think, dude, the Braves are the real fucking deal. And if you look at their schedule, I'm getting a little long-winded here, guys, but their next 8 games are going to kind of tell the story of whether or not they're going to be making a run here. They got 9, 3 more San Francisco, 3 more with the Dodgers, 3 with Philly before it kind of gets really easy to close the second half here. So I think they got their toughest stretch of the first half. And guys, the National League division races are fucking tight.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's interesting how you can, you're right, kind of group them all in. You know, last year they got hot in the playoffs and weren't great during the year. It seems like they're doing really well this year. So is it like reverse? I think the Braves are right there. It's going to be an interesting mix in the NL. Carl, you just got back from Omaha. You told us Jake had an interesting run-in with some kids.
Yeah, so we were in Omaha. This is a great opportunity. We weren't originally going to go. Mincy's going, obviously. Ole Miss goes. That kind of makes things a little bit bigger and better. He was going to go regardless, and he and I had really teamed up and had a great time last year. I think I ended up doing like 12 or 13 days, went with a backpack, couple pairs of boxers, and Mincy and I really bonded. We were trying to get out to Omaha. Obviously, with starting 9 picking up, it was a little bit harder to put that kind of trip on the schedule. So Jake hits me up and he's like, hey, I'm going to be in Omaha for my kids' 10 and under tournament. It's like this big national tournament. If if you're going to make it, like this would be a good opportunity. So we go out there. I put together an itinerary with the idea that Jake would be able to go through the College World Series game with Mincy and like take pictures and interact with fans. And I'm telling Mincy on the way out here, like, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We'll record a podcast. And that's Saturday night. So I asked Jake, I go, hey, Saturday night, we got to do something. We'll record the show. So Friday, Jake's on site for like the kids. The kids are there. They've got like a tournament showcase, Texas, Notre Dame. And rightfully so, he's walking there and it's every 10, 12 under kid. And then every, young dad, a lot of pictures, a lot of autographs. And Jake doesn't say no to kids and stuff. And so you go through the village and it becomes this like kind of really, really, really mad rush. And so we see each other in the outfield. And I'm telling you guys, I've been out with Mincy in Omaha. The amount of people that were like, holy shit, because he's obviously very recognizable. So sure as shit comes the next day, we go out for the 10 and under tournament. I'm up 8 a.m. watching the kids play, having a good time, bullshitting with Jake while he's coaching them. And I said, what do you want to do for the podcast plans tonight? Do you want to go to the Ole Miss game with Mincy? And he's like, brother, please, whatever we do, I'll do whatever, just no more concourse. So he comes to the Ameristar Casino in Council Bluffs, Iowa, high stakes blackjack for 3 hours in the back table. You want to talk about dropping? I mean, stacks. Him and his buddy from Austin holding court, running this and that. Bachelor party grabbed around, and we had the Ole Miss game up on the corner. And he was like, hey, I know, we had some ideas to go on the tailgate, but this is the type of bonding we got to do. So we go out to the parking lot. We cut the podcast in the Sprinter van. And you could tell he was like, dude, we came out here for Omaha for the College World Series. But it's like shit like this that brings a team together. And the way he interacted with the kids was really fucking crazy. So there we are the morning Saturday. And a guy comes out of the bushes, swear to God, looking for an autograph from Jake while he's warming his kid up with the heavy ball. And they're playing long toss, and he's talking to the kid, and the guy's, we're talking 50-year-old weather guy. Jake, Mr. Arrieta. Hey, Mr. Arrieta. Jake takes a couple steps over. Hey, buddy, you can see I'm a little busy here doing a job here, getting this kid ready. And the guy just stone cold. Jake, God, and he's back over the kid. All right, get focused. Now, here's the thing, though. If that wasn't a 50-year-old man and it was a 13-year-old boy, he's over there signing autographs, working on pitch scripts and all this stuff. So it was really cool to even try and bring him into that world with Mincy for a little bit, kind of see what that was like, the chaos. But then for him to be a guy to just be like, dude, we'll just get a table at the back of the Ameristar. We'll have some food. We'll have some drinks. We'll smoke a couple, we'll have the games up anyways.
Yeah. The game sometimes is just as good on TV. Ev, Leota just passed. That reminds me of the scene in Blow when they're like, come on, can we get going? When he goes, hey, Jimmy, I'm talking to my kid. And then he goes and yells at him again. That's like exactly what it was. Perfect. I'm going to go first here and kind of double dip because the dog of the day and the best bet line up, which is a rarity. But rather than go back to back and give you 2 reasons, I'll just go straight up. I'm on the Rockies plus 110. Daniel Castano has been pretty good for the Marlins. When the Rockies, even on the road, I know the Rockies on the road, when they lose, they still score runs, which is why my best bet is over 3.5 runs. I can see this getting hot, or day off in between. I've been good on the Rockies. I like their lineup. I'm not impressed with the Marlins lineup. The guy pitching for the Rockies is going to give up a ton. This might be a softball game as well. We're going to need some runs to score. I'm kind of double dipping here. I'm going Rockies plus 110, Rockies over 3.5. Carl, who do you got as far as the bet? Dog of the day first. Dog of the day.
I'm going with the Cubs. It's just been flat out embarrassing. Their June ERA is 6.79. Again, they're in the Pirates. The Pirates have been, again, better than I anticipated. The Cubs are 17 games under 500. They've got Swarmer going. Last time out, I want to say he gave up like 17 home runs to the Yankees. So it's an opportunity to bounce back, I think, and it's actually a decent spot for the Cubs Cubs plus 135. Even though, I mean, if you look close enough, they're playing, quite honestly, the worst baseball of the year of the entire league, save for the Reds to start the season. Ev, over to you.
All right, Tommy, it's funny because we talk about the Braves so much, and I do like the Braves, but I think this is a good spot for the Giants tonight. I think they're a little too – that number's a little too high today. The Giants, you're catching them plus 145, almost 150. They've been very good on the road. They've actually been really, really good as an underdog this season. Very, very good at plus money. I know the pitch, like I talk about the Swider kid, or however you say his name, for our Striders. For the Braves have been very good. I think this is a good spot to buy low into Scalafini. He has not been great this year at all, but I think this is a good spot to buy back on him. I just think the number is just too high for the Giants, way too high. Plus 145, 150 range. I'm all over. I love the Giants today.
All right, whip us back around, Ev. Who's your best bet?
So my best bet today, why am I drawing a blank now? I'm sorry. What was my best bet? Oh, excuse me, the Cardinals. The Cardinals are my best bet today. Another one, kind of a bounce back spot. They get shut out last night. Jack Flaherty today making his, I believe, maybe not his first start, basically his second appearance. His last, he was coming off the injury, only threw 3 innings his last time. Going against the Brewers, who are throwing a guy who has not pitched yet this year, I think it's a good spot for him to kind of get the bats going after they got shut out last night. They're minus like 125, minus 130. Anyone who's seen me bet baseball the last couple of years, I love betting on the Cardinals. I love this team. I think they get going tonight. I like them as favorites today on the road.
Yeah, it's not an outlandish vig. I gave out the Cardinals last night. That shutout kind of sucked. And I've been very anti-Brewers. I've been looking to go against the Brewers, so I like that idea. Carl, best bet.
All right, so I'm going to take the Red Sox and the Tigers over 9.5. That's like plus 100. The only reason this thing's plus 100 is because they're playing the Tigers, and the Tigers just aren't very good, fellas. OPS 670 over the last 7 days, but the Red Sox have been hot. OPS close to 800. And, they're just in this mode here. I know they got Scooble coming the next day on Game 3, so this is the kind of day you show up. If you are the type of guy who looks ahead, you say tonight's the night. They got a weird crosswind coming across Fenway that's pushing balls off that left field wall, and I think the Red Sox are just going to be peppering that baby all night long.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I haven't been too great with the overs, but when you can nail pitching matchups, I like that. The extra innings question that I had kind of segues perfectly into the Red Sox. What percentage would you guys put that the AL East does not have all 3 wild cards? Because Cleveland has snuck in there behind Toronto. So it's percentage points. Toronto 567, Cleveland 548. Boston's at 544 and Tampa's at 537. So do we think like Cleveland's here to stay because the Central's weak? The East, are they going to cannibalize each other? You do play each other 18 times. Like if you go 6-12 against the Yankees, is that going to kill you if you don't get hot against like Boston or Toronto? What percentage, I guess, would you guys put that 0 to 100? Ev, it's your division. You go first.
So the percentage that the AL East doesn't get all 3?
Yeah, that the AL East doesn't get all 3. Because I think it would – I mean, it's fairly – like for a while it looked like they would get all 3. And it doesn't seem like anybody's coming out of the West unless the Angels make a deal. Although the Angels are somebody to kind of keep an eye on. Even with a 14-game losing streak or whatever the hell they had, new manager, they're only 4 games under 500. You got to think somebody gets a deadline deal there. They're like a little bit pesky on the radar, but I think it's coming out of the East. So, yeah, I'm interested. Maybe I'm overvaluing it. Like, what percentage would you put it at?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I guess, maybe like it's tough that they don't get all 3. Maybe like I don't want to give you a 50-50. That's a cop-out answer. I'll say like 60%.
Okay.
I don't know. It's getting the 4 teams in is tough. It was almost hard for me to say that because I am, even though the Rays are in last right now, out of that group, I think I'm such a believer in the Rays long term just because of their pitching. But I guess I'll say like 60% because I agree with your point that the Guardians just play a much easier schedule. That division's just not very good. You're obviously getting the Royals a ton. You're getting the Tigers a ton. The White Sox are starting to play a little bit better.
They're
I guess I'll go.
They're 3.5 back.
I guess I'll say it's a little more likely that one of them falls off.
Okay.
I mean, the Blue Jays are starting to worry me a little bit. I don't know how to feel about the Blue Jays. Because I feel like they were just so they're sexy on paper. I don't love their pitching. Like Barrios hasn't been great. I mean, I'm not crazy about them. I wouldn't be shocked if they were the team that that ended up kind of falling off the wagon a little bit.
All right. Carl, what percentage would you put it at?
Yeah, I'd price the field like minus 145 to take the third wild card spot.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what percentage that breaks out at, but I'm just thinking as like an odds maker of what I'd say. The injury risk, obviously, what Ev's talking about. The Guardians aren't going to play their best baseball usually to the last 50 games of the season. Those are like that's like the Tito Francona special. He just like keeps working and grinding and gets you to like mid-August. And then those teams, I have to double check. He's got to be the best manager from like August 15th to the end of baseball. And then like Tav's point, the White Sox are getting out. They've been injured too. People don't realize this. Andrew Vaughn is going to be is a monster that people are just starting to wake up on. And like if they can kind of get their mix going a little bit, you look at their roster. There's so much injury and underperformance. It's just the nature of the game. Summer's getting hot in Chicago. It's 98 degrees here, guys. The wind's blowing out. So you look at that. And then to your point, the Angels. To me, it's Angels. Can the Mariners, somebody has to make a run, and I think whoever has the best pitching staff can make the longest sense of a run because these lineups can get shut down any kind of day. But if you want to sustain a run, you got to have the starting pitching. You cannot be dropping off to some quadruple A arm or some triple A arm, every fourth game or something. That just is not simply cannot happen. So I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on if the Angels starting rotation can kind of get some momentum. Syndergaard, I'm waiting for Syndergaard to like his arm to fall off, but is he getting better? Who knows? But it's a great question to pose, Rico, because when you look at these standings, the West, 10 games difference. You look at the East, 10, 12, 13 games difference, and people forget those 3 wild card spots are still very much in play. Where's your take on this?
I probably, if I was like handicapping it, I would be the least confident in Boston to make it, weirdly. Like I said, I do believe in Toronto. They were my pick preseason to win the World Series. They're sexy on paper. I get it. Like that lineup could really, really, really be a problem. They need to figure out the pitching. They'll probably make some kind of deadline deal or figure out what they can do. I obviously trust the Rays. The Rays seem to be very like poker face, even keel, love the pitching. It's the Red Sox that worry me a little bit. I don't know. I guess of that group, I don't think that they're the sexiest. I could see them dropping out. It already kind of makes sense, obviously, because Cleveland got ahead of them. You could say the same for Tampa, but I still believe in Tampa long term. So that's kind of where I'm at. The hit parade just came in from Jack as being priced. I'm going to give you very simple. I'm going to give you Freddie Freeman. Dodgers hit well. Freddie Freeman hits well. Really, really doing well in the last week as far as like hitting streak games. He probably go deep tonight as well. I'm going to put in Freddie Freeman. Ev, who are you putting in?
So I'm actually, shout out to the guy in my DMs who's been begging me to put this guy in the hit parade for like 3 weeks. And honestly, he's been red hot, so I had to do it. I'm putting in Dansby Swanson. Okay. The guy has been absolutely on fire. Obviously, the Braves have been on fire. I'll for the next show, I'll find his DM and say his name because he deserves it. He's been literally hammered my DMs, like put him in. You see me put in Riley, some other guys on the Braves. So
Kuna, yeah.
Here you go. There he is, Dansby Swanson. He's swinging a hot stick. He's batting 2 in the lineup now that Albies is out. A lot of at-bats. Dansby Swanson.
Yeah, I got told to put in Kirk from the Toronto Blue Jays, and I was worried, though, because catcher on a getaway day, and, of course, he hits one. He fucking takes care of business. Carl, who do you got to round out the parlay plus 200?
I'm going back to the Wild. Ty France is good to me, guys. I like him very much. Now, the guy for the A's, I'm going to screw his name up, Caprielian. He's terrible against lefties. People can say, well, then go to Ty France. No, that just means I got runners on first and second a lot of time. Ty France is up today. Expect a lot of runners on base. Ty France is a stud. People wake up. I'm going to keep saying his name. Ty France.
I like that. All right. So, again, we'll tease in. You want to parlay the best bets. You want to parlay the dogs like they pay out a ridiculous amount. Get involved with the hit parade. Baseball's here. 4th of July coming up. Like, grind. This is what we do. We'll keep going with the winners. We've been hot. We'll see you guys on. Actually, you know what? I'm out Thursday, so we're working it out as far as what we got. It could be a 2-man. Carl, you definitely in?
I'm definitely in, and we're working on a mystery guest here. I'm going to see if Rob Manfred's available.
All right, fantastic. All right, so either way, we'll see you on Thursday.